From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
I never thought I'd have to go through something like this, and I don't think anybody ever thinks that they do.
Coming up, the first-hand account of the attack from the woman who fought off the dog.
Vice President Kamala Harris is set to name her vice presidential pick early next week. I'm Leah Mishkin with the star power Harris brought out on the campaign trail as attacks from both sides ramp up.
Gallatin High School has only been open for 4 years. I'm Edgar Cedillo, and district officials are now looking at the possibility of changing the high school boundaries for Boseman and Gallatin. I'll have the details coming up.
Alrighty, it is 6 o'clock on this Wednesday morning, but Matt, it's not only Wednesday. This is the last day of July.
Yeah, that's right.
How insane is that?
Goodness, we're going to be talking about school starting here before you know it.
Don't tell me that. I mean, the teacher, the daughter of a teacher, that was always a tough time.
I'm sure it was not stressful at all.
No, of course not. Oh my gosh, I can't believe school really is right around the corner.
It's not far away.
Wow.
I know there are soccer camps and camps going on all over.
Yep.
So
Bobcat's going to be moving into the dorms here pretty soon.
Temperatures not bad. Right now we're seeing a lot of 40s across the area. 46 out toward West Yellowstone, 40 in Butte. Our skies are clear, not only now, but throughout most of the day. Looks like our temperatures today should be right in that ideal range between around 80 to 85 degrees for most of the area. I'm going to talk more about our week ahead and what to expect heading through the weekend in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you very much, Matt. Now, Bozeman is known as a pet-friendly city, but one woman says a dog attacked her and her dog right outside of her apartment complex. Our Megan Elaine spoke with the woman.
It's here in the corner of the Creekside Apartments, where a Bozeman resident was doing her daily walk when she noticed a dog running toward her.
Come on, let's go get some water. Come on, you can do it.
I wasn't wanting to kill someone else's dog.
Chelsea Thomas has lived in Bozeman for 2 years. She walks her 2 dogs, Nova and Bella, every day. Last Saturday evening, their evening walk did not go as planned.
And the latch for the gates on the patio to go out of the apartment complex was not latched. And that pit bull, as soon as it seen her, literally 100 miles an hour, one thing on its mind.
She says the dog refused to let go of her 11-year-old husky, Bella.
And that obviously this dog is not going to let go. At that point, I seen blood coming out of her face, and that's when I had to make that hard decision to pull my knife out of my pocket, and I started stabbing the dog as many times as I could.
Kelsey's injuries were minor compared to Bella, who stayed overnight at the vet. She says she doesn't blame the dog, who later died due to its injuries.
Find that bad one that isn't secure, and it only takes 1 second for something horrifying to happen to your animal.
Thomas Jacob at Cottonwood Vet Hospital has been a veterinarian for nearly 40 years.
Altogether, there are probably more people bitten by Chihuahuas, but they're not much of a bad threat. On the other end of the spectrum, pit bulls, Rottweilers.
He says for those not leashing their dogs,
that's irresponsible. Because you never know. I mean, all dogs can bite. So what some people do is when they have their dog leashed up, they'll put a bright ribbon around the dog's collar, which should signify kind of an alert sign. This dog could be iffy if approached too closely.
Chelsea is seeking legal counsel for her next steps regarding the attack, and also footage from the apartment's leasing office. In Bozeman, Megan Elaine, MTN News.
Thank you very much, Megan. Now, a new wildfire north of Lincoln has sparked the opening of an evacuation shelter in the Lincoln School building. So far, no one is using the shelter services, and that fire near the Powell County line and called the Black Mountain Fire saw little growth overnight. It's estimated that the fire is now at 65 acres with zero containment. To keep the fire in check, yesterday evening, firefighters used 3 large tankers and 2 helicopters. But officials say, as of yesterday afternoon, ground crews have not found an access point to fight the fire on foot. The cooler temperatures, cloud cover, and rain definitely helped limit that fire spread. The fire is within Forest Service land, but the Lewis and Clark County Sheriff's Office says it is roughly 3 miles out from hitting private property. The Pine Grove campfire has been evacuated along with about 66 residents. And wildfire smoke is creating poor air quality in many parts of the country this summer, including right here in Montana. Now, a new study is giving us a better idea of the long-term impact that smoke can have in our brains, and it's not great. Researchers looked at 10 years of data from more than 1 million people who were 60 or older. They found the odds of a dementia diagnosis increased after repeated exposure to wildfire smoke. Researchers also concluded that the problem is increasing over time because of the frequency of extreme fire days. Now on the national scene, Vice President Kamala Harris held her biggest campaign rally to date in battleground Georgia yesterday. CBS News has learned Harris is set to name her vice presidential pick early next week. Today, former President Donald Trump is in Pennsylvania as he and his running mate, J.D. Vance, continue to throw barbs at Harris over the southern border. CBS News' Leah Mishkin has more from London.
Vice President Kamala Harris took the stage before a packed house of thousands in Atlanta yesterday.
The momentum in this race is shifting, and there are signs that Donald Trump is feeling it.
Her first campaign stop in battleground Georgia as a 2024 presidential candidate featured star power and renewed enthusiasm among the state's Democratic voters.
I am excited that she's kind of reinvigorated the race.
It all comes as CBS News has learned that Harris is expected to name her running mate by Monday. Next week, Harris and her VP pick will crisscross the country, starting Tuesday with a rally in Philadelphia. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro is believed to be among the contenders.
I trust she will make that decision on her own terms when she is ready.
Out west in Nevada, Republican vice presidential nominee J.D. Vance sharpened his attacks.
Kamala Harris's vision is open American borders and closed American factories.
A new Trump campaign ad also doubles down on slamming Harris over immigration.
She just lied.
The border is secure.
Harris hit back with her own ad bashing Trump's record.
Donald Trump blocked a bill to increase the number of Border Patrol agents.
Today, the vice president will speak at a historically black sorority event in Texas. Trump will attend the National Association of Black Journalists Conference in Chicago and then hold a campaign rally in Pennsylvania. Leah Mishkin, CBS News.
And Senator J.D. Vance is also on the trail tomorrow with a fundraiser in California and a rally planned in Arizona. Meanwhile, we're learning more about the Democratic National Convention next month. Sources familiar with the planning say President Joe Biden is expected to give a primetime address on the first night of the convention. Now, a little bit closer to home, just 4 years after the opening of Boseman's second high school boundaries are having to be redrawn. Our Edgar Cedillo explains what that may mean for students in the district.
With the school year right around the corner, one thing that Bozeman School Board trustees will be taking a look at is the boundaries between Bozeman and Gallatin high schools.
First one was around a glaring issue we have with high school boundaries. Gallatin High opened in 2020 and it's quickly full.
According to the Montana High School Association, Gallatin High has around 1,480 students. Bozeman School Superintendent Casey Bertram says that the schools currently have about a 230 student difference. In the last year, he says that they sent students from Gallatin to Bozeman.
Convene a team that will look at options for moving around high school boundaries between Bozeman High and Gallatin High.
Because of the rapid growth on Bozeman's west side, Bertram says that the trustees will look at changing the boundaries for the 2025-2026 school year.
At the high school level, we're looking at studying it, bringing a recommendation to the board for the following school year.
Bertram points out that the district will only study the changes to the high school boundaries, and he doesn't expect any changes to the elementary or middle school boundaries.
Have the board weigh in on whether we're going to move forward with K-8 or not, and they've chosen to pause.
One thing they do plan to keep an eye on is the new open enrollment that was passed during the 2023 legislative session.
It really didn't result in a lot of change. So, we have over 7,000 students in the district, so a few students coming and going doesn't really impact that bottom line there.
Now, Bertram says that the process of changing the boundary will take a couple of months as the district decides how to change the boundary and gets input from parents, teachers, and students. In Bozeman, Edgar Cedillo, MTN News.
And this week, a federal judge in Missoula will hear arguments on whether the federal government has done enough environmental analysis on its practice of killing or removing grizzly bears in Montana. The hearing is set for Friday morning at the federal courthouse in Missoula. A group of environmental organizations, including Wild Earth Guardians, sued 2 federal agencies last year. The groups claim that a federal government program to remove bears after conflicts with people or livestock may have a significant effect on grizzly bear populations. The groups insist there should be a more robust environmental impact statement before authorizing such action. Federal agencies disagree. They say the program is not likely to have a significant effect on the grizzlies' recovery, and blocking it would only lead to more issues with managing conflicts. And a rural primary health clinic needs a new home after being told it needs to vacate the facility after it's been there for 16 years. Our Charlie Kleps has more on the impacts that this could have for a big group of patients.
Since 2008, Riverstone Health has operated a rural clinic out of the Joliet Community Center behind me in an effort to reach patients in the area. Well, as of spring of next year, that could change, and that has residents concerned over their future. It takes less than 2 minutes to get a full tour of Riverstone Health's clinic in Joliet.
It's very comfortable. There's no pressure on you at all.
But this small, familiar office is perfect for patients like Lynn Coughlin.
We're almost like family, you know. If something's wrong, we always call them.
For 16 years, they've existed here.
We do primary care, so from cradle to grave, we take care of all ages.
Subletting the facility from Beartooth Billings Clinic Physical Therapy and sharing the days so both practices could coexist.
The issue on the table right now is that Beartooth Physical Therapy has grown so much that they need access to this clinic 5 days a week.
But a recent expansion by the PT group means that this service will be without a home by next spring.
It's going to make a lot of change for me and the community itself. It's just not going to be convenient.
Something Coughlin says would be devastating for the entire town, who would likely have to make the trek all the way to Billings for care.
It would really be harmful for the community because they are so accessible here.
It's really easier for us to prioritize our health care if it's nearby.
Riverstone Health Physician's Assistant Casey Jansma understands how important convenience is with health care.
If it costs us a trip to town, it's a financial burden, it's a time commitment, and you're away from your job or the ranch or the school.
And that's why she's determined to try and save the practice, planning fundraisers and other events, hoping to find a new space.
We're going to stay here. I'm going to find a way to make it happen.
Refusing to let this small town become a healthcare wasteland, just like many other rural communities around the country.
It's kind of like a country doctor. When they're gone, the only thing we have left is the bigger cities, and you can't hardly get in. So it's going to make things pretty dire for those who need the services.
In Joliet, Charlie Kleps, MTN News.
Well, and I think a lot of people may think, Billings only 30 minutes away, but think about it during the winter, during really dire medical needs. That's a big deal.
You've got some traveling to do.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the problems here in Western states many times.
Having those kind of medical deserts out there. Now, before we head into a break, I wanted to share this with you. Now, I have some family members, friends, they really go over the top when it comes to birthday parties for their kids or their friends. Well, I think China has them beat in this regard because they are celebrating the only triplets in the world.
Aww.
This is their 10th birthday. So, you know what? China is celebrating them in style with their own little ride.
I feel like we were talking about this. It kind of reminds me of It's a Small World.
I think so. Well, and you know, we can take a page out of that book. Bears are all over the world.
They
so
are.
This is just one of many of the bear family. I just think it's super fun. Now, I mean, the chance of having twins from a panda, about 50%. Triplets, especially triplets that survive until age 10. I mean, extremely rare. So look at him in a teacup. I just think it's so funny. Brings a smile to my face. Now, time for a quick break. When we come back, though, well, Montana got a little bit of a break from the heat yesterday, but we're going to be talking about heat across the country in this next story, curbing the trend of children being left in hot cars. When we come back, we're going to explore new technology available to save lives.